The galaxy thought Earth was quiet, a small blue planet tucked safely in the Sol system, hardly worth notice. But beneath its calm surface, humanity had built wonders the stars had never seen. Hidden deep in orbit, shielded by layers of cloaking and deception, floated the Titan Leviathan, Earth's supercarrier, a mobile fortress bristling with power unimaginable to even the oldest alien empires. Its massive hull gleamed faintly under the light of the distant sun, yet sensors could detect nothing unusual. To outsiders, it was just another star among billions. Commander Ilara Saeed stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the star map, yet her mind was far from the quiet hum of the ship. Years of planning, decades of preparation all led to this day. For centuries, humanity had hidden, quietly observing the galaxy, learning its patterns, its politics, its wars. They had watched alien fleets clash, civilizations rise and fall, and yet never had they intervened openly. The Titan Leviathan was their promise to themselves, a reminder that if the galaxy ever threatened innocence, Earth would respond and no one would forget it. "Sir," came the voice of Lieutenant Cho, breaking the quiet tension. "New signals detected. Distress call from Valoria Prime. Entire planet under siege." Ilara's hands tightened around the railing. Valoria Prime. She had studied this planet long before it became a target. It was a peaceful world, home to scholars, farmers, and dreamers. They had no weapons, no fleets, nothing to defend themselves against a galactic predator. Yet here was a call for help, reaching across light years, a plea that humanity could no longer ignore. "Show me the attackers," Ilara said. The holographic display shifted, revealing a massive alien fleet, bristling with weapons far beyond anything Valoria could resist. Their shapes were sharp, metallic, terrifying, and they moved like a living storm, swallowing whole sections of the planet in shadow. Lieutenant Cho swallowed hard. They'll obliterate the planet in hours. Valoria doesn't stand a chance." Ilara's jaw tightened. "And yet," she said softly, almost to herself, "some calls demand an answer." Her gaze moved across the bridge. Each officer, each pilot, each engineer felt the weight of what was about to happen. They were about to step out of the shadows of history and show the galaxy what humanity had been hiding. The Titan Leviathan began its shift, slowly, deliberately. Its cloaking fields phased out, revealing the massive supercarrier to space. Energy cascaded from its surface, forming a shimmering outline visible across tens of thousands of kilometers. Alien sensors, attuned to the faintest anomalies, began to twitch. For centuries, humanity had stayed silent. Now they were about to speak, and their voice would echo like thunder across the stars. The crew could feel it, a shiver running through the ship, a collective pulse of anticipation and fear. They had trained for this moment, dreamed of it, yet the reality of unveiling a supercarrier to an entire galaxy was heavier than any simulation. "Status?" Ilara asked. "All systems green," replied Cho. "Weapons online. Shields at full capacity." "Hyperdrive ready," Ilara nodded. "Prepare for jump. We're going to Valoria, and we're going to make them remember Earth." As the ship powered up, the first faint tremors reached the alien fleet. Their sensors picked up the sudden presence of the Leviathan, and confusion rippled through their lines. They had assumed Earth was small, weak, irrelevant. They had assumed humanity would remain hidden, ignored, harmless. They were wrong. In orbit over Valoria, the planet's inhabitants looked up at the stars, watching with awe as a colossal shadow descended from space. It was not a cloud, nor a storm. It was a ship the size of a small moon. A silent beacon of hope, of power, and of something they had never imagined Earth could hold. Ilara's voice, calm and resolute, echoed through the bridge. "Today they will know. Today they will understand that Earth does not kneel. Today we arrive." And in that moment the galaxy shifted. For the first time, humanity uncloaked not just their supercarrier, but their presence, their ambition, and their unyielding spirit. Somewhere in the distance, alien fleets faltered, sensing that the quiet blue planet they had ignored for centuries was far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. Commander Alara Saeed took a deep breath. She knew this was only the beginning. The war, the confrontation, the storm that would shake the stars was coming. But for now, humanity had stepped into the light, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Titan Leviathan floated proudly, a promise and a warning, ready to bring hope to the helpless and fear to the oppressors. The Titan Leviathan cut through space like a blade of steel. The stars themselves seemed to bend around it, sensing a presence no galaxy had seen before. Inside the bridge, Commander Alara Saeed felt a surge of determination and fear at the same time. This was no drill, no simulation. Real lives hung in the balance. Valoria Prime, helpless and terrified, counted on them. And humanity, for the first time, was stepping into the storm of the wider galaxy. Distance to Valoria Prime? Alara asked, her voice steady. 10 million kilometers, Lieutenant Cho reported. Alien fleet is still attacking, their shields are holding, for now. But the planet, gravity wells indicate massive destruction already. Alara's jaw tightened. They're not giving anyone a chance to survive. The crew exchanged glances. Some hid fear behind professionalism. Others could not. Every officer felt the weight of history pressing on their shoulders. Humanity had hidden for centuries, watching others fight, conquer, and destroy. Now the responsibility was theirs. The galaxy had never faced the fury of Earth before. Deploy fighter squadrons, Alara commanded. Target the closest assault cruisers. Protect the planet at all costs. Outside the viewports, squadrons of sleek, heavily armed fighters burst from the Leviathan's hangars. They streaked toward the alien fleet like shooting stars, leaving streaks of plasma in their wake. Every pilot knew the stakes. Valoria was counting on them. Humanity's first strike would decide the planet's fate and reveal to the galaxy that the quiet blue world was no longer harmless. The first contact was brutal. Alien cruisers opened fire, torrents of deadly energy ripping through space. Explosions lit up the void like deadly fireworks. Fighters twisted, dodged, and retaliated, laser beams cutting through the darkness. Every maneuver was precise, every strike calculated. The humans had trained for this for decades. The aliens had assumed Earth was soft, weak, irrelevant. They were about to learn the cost of underestimating humanity. Alara watched the chaos unfold on the holographic displays. Her heart pounded. Every blip, every flash of light represented lives. She could almost feel the panic of the Valorian people as the Leviathan and its escorts tore into the alien formation. "Commander," said Cho, pointing at the display. "They're regrouping. New reinforcements, faster than we expected." Alara's mind raced. The enemy was skilled, ruthless, and prepared to kill everything in their path. But humans had something aliens never could predict: sheer unpredictability and unyielding courage. "Activate Leviathan's main cannons," Alara ordered. "Target the lead cruisers. Show them why Earth does not hide anymore." A deep rumble shook the Supercarrier as energy built within its massive weapons. Outside, beams of concentrated light cut through space, striking alien ships with unstoppable force. Entire cruisers disintegrated, leaving only fragments drifting in the void. The shockwaves rattled through the enemy formation, sending smaller vessels spinning out of control. Valorian sensors, long dormant, recorded every human strike. Hope sparked in their hearts for the first time. They had thought the galaxy had abandoned them. They had thought no one would help. And now, from the darkness of space, humanity had appeared, a shining symbol of courage and power. But the victory was not without cost. Alien counterattacks intensified. Plasma torpedoes slammed into the Leviathan's shields, shaking the ship violently. Warning lights flashed. Smoke hissed from vented conduits. Fighters were lost. Every second felt like an eternity. The crew fought desperately, balancing fear and determination, skill and instinct. Alara clenched her fists. "They think they can overwhelm us," she said, voice cold but firm. "They do not know the strength they are challenging. Humanity fights not for territory, not for glory, but for life, for those who cannot defend themselves." And in that moment, every officer on the bridge felt it. the unshakable certainty that humanity had been underestimated for too long. This was their declaration, their arrival. The Leviathan was not just a weapon, it was a message. The galaxy would remember Earth. As alien ships fell one by one, a new realization settled over the bridge. The battle was far from over. The enemy was relentless, adaptive, and still outnumbered them. But for the first time they faltered. The Leviathan's power was undeniable. Humanity's presence, once hidden, had become a storm sweeping through the enemy fleet. Alara looked at the planet below, partially scarred by the alien bombardment. She whispered almost to herself, "Hold on, Valoria. We are coming." Outside in the void, the Titan Leviathan continued its advance, carving a path of hope through destruction. Every beam fired, every maneuver executed, every life saved became a testament to the human spirit. The galaxy would learn today that Earth had awakened, and once awakened, it would never again be ignored. The first shockwave of humanity had struck, and it would not be the last. The battle raged around Valoria Prime like a storm of fire and steel. Alien ships swirled, their weapons carving through space with deadly precision, while the Leviathan moved with calm purpose, cutting through the chaos like a predator among prey. Commander Alara Sayid watched the holographic display, her eyes scanning hundreds of points of light. Every one a life, a threat, a choice. "Commander," Lieutenant Cho said urgently, "reinforcements from the alien High Fleet are entering the system. They've detected us fully now. Their numbers, they're enormous." Alara's hand tightened on the railing. "They think overwhelming force will break us. They've never faced humanity. They've never faced fear wrapped in courage." Outside, the first wave of reinforcements arrived, sleek and menacing. Their ships moved like a living shadow, converging on Valoria with terrifying speed. Valorian civilians watched from their cities, terrified, but something had changed. The sight of the Leviathan, massive, unstoppable, gave them hope. Mothers clutched their children. Farmers and scholars stared at the sky, whispering prayers they hadn't dared speak in decades. Humanity had become their shield. Alara turned to her tactical officer. "Deploy full fighter squadrons. Focus on the lead attackers. Make them regret underestimating us." The fighters surged forward, weaving through the alien formation, dodging energy blasts, and striking with pinpoint accuracy. Each pilot moved, with deadly skill, trained for decades in simulations, now proving that humanity's ingenuity and courage were more than theoretical. Alien ships fell, some shattered by precision strikes, others ripped apart by the Leviathan's immense cannons. "Sir," Cho said, pointing at the display. "The alien flagship is engaging. It's huge. Weapons unmatched by anything we've seen before." Alara's jaw tightened. The flagship loomed like a mountain in space, its energy shields glowing ominously. But she did not flinch. Humanity had never faced the impossible and retreated. This was the moment to show why. "Prepare the Leviathan's concentrated energy arrays," she ordered. "We hit them together. Fighters, cannons, everything. Synchronize fire. Timing is everything." The ship rumbled as energy built in its massive weapons. Fighters darted around the flagship, drawing its fire while the Leviathan charged its main cannons. Then with one thunderous release, beams of white-hot energy struck the alien flagship. Explosions rippled through its hull, shields flickering, engines faltering. The enemy faltered, and for the first time, hesitation rippled through their fleet. They had assumed Earth was weak, timid, hidden. They were wrong. Humanity did not fight to conquer. It fought to defend, and when it fought, it did so with unstoppable will. But the battle was far from won. Alien ships regrouped, adapting quickly. Their energy weapons lashed out at Valoria, striking at cities, infrastructure, and civilians. Every second mattered. Alara could see the damage on the planetary surface. Fires spreading, buildings collapsing. Valorians cried out in fear. Humanity's first strike had slowed the enemy, but it had not yet stopped them. Alara felt a wave of responsibility wash over her. Every decision, every command, could save or doom thousands of lives. But fear would not guide her. Humanity had trained for this, for moments when courage must meet chaos head-on. "Divert power to shields," she commanded, voice steady. "Fighters, keep pressure. We will not let them take this planet." The Leviathan shuddered as its shields absorbed the brunt of the alien assault. Pilots pressed their attacks, tearing through enemy formations with relentless precision. Every explosion, every ship destroyed was a spark of hope for Valoria, and a shockwave of fear for the alien fleet. Humanity's strategy was simple: overwhelm with precision, defend with courage, and never, ever back down. In the midst of battle, Alara allowed herself a glance at the planet below. She saw people emerging from shelters, standing tall despite the chaos. A young Valorian child waved at the sky, not understanding the full terror of the war, but feeling hope. That small gesture strengthened her resolve. "They believe they are invincible," Alara whispered. "But they do not understand what humans are capable of when we fight for life, not for domination." Energy beams lit the void like bolts of lightning, and the Leviathan carved a path through the enemy fleet. Ships that had once seemed impossible to defeat were now falling one by one. The galaxy had underestimated Earth for centuries, and now it was learning a harsh truth. Humanity's courage could not be measured, its ingenuity could not be predicted, and its heart could never be broken. As the battle continued, a new thought struck Alara. This was only the beginning. Valoria would survive, but the shockwaves of Earth's arrival would ripple across the galaxy. The Titan Leviathan had unveiled humanity's presence, and the stars themselves would tremble at the knowledge that a quiet blue world was now awake and ready. Outside, the Leviathan moved like a god among mortals, fighters streaking past like lightning, energy beams cutting through the darkness, and the alien fleet trembling before a force they had never imagined. Alara took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on the flagship. "We fight for those who cannot fight," she said softly, "and for those who dare to hope. Humanity has arrived." The first stage of the battle had been won, but the war was far from over. The Leviathan and its crew had shown the galaxy that Earth would not bow, that life would be defended, and that courage was the greatest weapon of all. And as the alien fleet faltered, confusion rippled through their ranks. The quiet blue planet they had ignored for centuries had become a storm they could not escape. The Leviathan moved through the void like a silent storm, its immense bulk cutting through enemy lines with unstoppable force. Valoria Prime below was scarred but still standing. Fires burned across cities and plumes of smoke rose into the sky, but the people looked up, hope shining in their eyes. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy could no longer ignore the quiet blue world. Commander Alara Saeed stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. Alien ships were regrouping, their formations chaotic now, shaken by the Leviathan's precision strikes. Yet their numbers were overwhelming. The alien fleet had not come to negotiate, they had come to annihilate. Every second mattered, and every decision could save or doom countless lives. "Sir," Lieutenant Cho said, pointing at a cluster of ships advancing toward the planet's surface. "They're going for the cities. If they reach them, Valoria will be lost." Alara's hands clenched on the railing. "Divert maximum power to orbital defense cannons. Fighters, intercept and hold them off. We will not let Valoria fall." Outside, the Leviathan's orbital cannons flared to life. Beams of concentrated energy tore through the incoming alien vessels, scattering them like leaves in a storm. Fighters weaved around the chaos, engaging enemy ships with deadly precision. Explosions lit the void, illuminating the Leviathan in a halo of fire and energy. Every strike, every maneuver, was a message. Humanity did not fight for conquest, but for life, and they would not fail. Yet even as victories came, the alien fleet adapted. Swarms of smaller, faster ships broke through the defenses, striking at Valoria's surface. Cities shook under bombardment, and screams echoed through the chaos. The people below had no weapons, no fleets, nothing to defend themselves. All hope rested on the Leviathan and its crew. Ilara felt the weight of that responsibility. Every life lost was a failure. Every moment of hesitation could mean death for the innocent. But fear would not guide her. Humanity had survived impossible odds before. They would survive again. Activate secondary pulse arrays, she commanded. Focus on the swarms, protect the planet. The Leviathan shuddered as energy flowed through its systems, building a wave of destructive force. A pulse of white-hot light surged from the ship, ripping through the alien swarms and sending them spinning into the void. Fighters cheered in the comm channels as enemy vessels disintegrated under the overwhelming firepower. Valoria's cities were still scarred, but they stood, breathing, alive. Cho's voice broke through the bridge speakers. Commander, sensors are picking up something massive. The alien flagship is preparing a superweapon. Energy levels off the charts. If it fires, Valoria could be destroyed instantly. Ilara's jaw tightened. Then we end it now. Every weapon, every fighter, target the flagship. Do not let it fire. The Leviathan surged forward, moving with deliberate fury. Fighters swarmed around the flagship like angry hornets, laser beams and missiles striking at weak points identified in the alien design. The flagship fired back, releasing torrents of energy, but the Leviathan's shields held firm. Every hit, every explosion was a test of endurance, courage, and will. Below, the Valorians watched in awe as the blue world above them fought for their survival. Children clutched their mothers, old scholars whispered prayers, and people who had long forgotten hope began to believe again. Humanity was showing them a truth they had never known. Even the quietest planet could rise like a storm and change the course of fate. Prepare final strike coordinates, Ilara said, her voice calm, resolute. We end this. We save the planet, and we show the galaxy the strength of humanity. Energy hummed through the Leviathan's main cannons. Fighters took position around the flagship, drawing its fire while the Leviathan charged. Then, in a blinding flash of light, beams of concentrated energy struck the alien flagship. Explosions tore through its hull, shields collapsing, engines failing. One by one, alien vessels faltered, then fell, scattering into the void. A cheer rose from the bridge. Victory was within reach. Valoria Prime below had survived the storm. Its people could rebuild, could dream, could live another day, all because humanity had dared to step out of the shadows. Ilara looked down at the planet, smoke rising from cities, fires burning, but life persisting. She allowed herself a brief moment of relief, but the weight of the galaxy pressed on her shoulders. This victory was just the beginning. The Leviathan's presence had been revealed. The galaxy would never see Earth the same way again. Today, Ilara whispered, Valoria lives, but the galaxy has learned a lesson it will never forget. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not hide. Humanity fights for life itself. Outside, the Leviathan floated like a colossus in the void. Fighters streaked past, alien wreckage drifted in silence, and the blue world below looked up at its saviors. Humanity had risen. The quiet blue planet had become a storm, and the galaxy would tremble at its awakening. The first wave of battle was over, but Commander Ilara knew the fight had just begun. They had won this battle, but the war to defend life, freedom, and hope was far from finished. And humanity was ready. The alien fleet had not expected humanity to fight back with such fury. The Leviathan moved like a god through space, its massive cannons glowing with lethal energy, fighters weaving around enemy ships in a deadly ballet. But the aliens were cunning. They adapted quickly, their formations shifting, their weapons concentrating on the Supercarrier with relentless precision. Commander Alara Sayid stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the holographic display. Every blip represented a life, an enemy, a choice. Every decision could save or doom thousands. "Status report," she said calmly, though tension ran deep in her voice. "Shields at 80% but weakening under sustained fire," Lieutenant Cho replied. "Fighter losses are rising. The enemy flagship is regrouping, preparing another strike." Alara clenched her fists. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, but this was different. They were far from home, fighting across light years for a planet they had never known. Yet fear would not guide her. Courage would. Humanity had survived deserts, storms, and extinction before. Now they were proving that survival was not enough. They would prevail. "Divert all available power to the main shields and energy cannons," she ordered. "Fighters form wedge formation. Target the flagship's weak points. We end this now." Outside, the Leviathan's weapons flared to life, casting long shadows across the alien fleet. Fighters surged forward, striking with precision, dodging torrents of enemy fire. Explosions lit the void like violent stars as alien ships were torn apart. The flagship, massive and terrifying, unleashed a wave of energy, sending smaller human ships spinning. But the Leviathan held firm. Every hit, every maneuver was a testament to human ingenuity and courage. "Commander," Cho said urgently, "their superweapon is charging again. If it fires, Valoria will be destroyed instantly. We have only minutes." Alara's eyes narrowed. "Then we strike together. Fighters draw their fire. Cannons focus on the energy cores. Shields hold as long as you can. Humanity will not fail." The bridge hummed with tension. Energy surged through the Leviathan systems, building to a blinding intensity. Outside, fighters darted like silver lightning, engaging alien ships with unmatched precision. Missiles streaked across space, finding their marks with deadly accuracy. Every strike brought the Leviathan closer to its target, and every second counted. Alara allowed herself a brief glance at Valoria Prime below. Fires still burned, but the people had not given up. Scholars, farmers, and children alike watched the stars, their hearts rising with hope. Humanity had given them a chance to survive, to dream, to rebuild. "Now," Alara commanded, her voice cutting through the tension like steel. The Leviathan's main cannons released a synchronized barrage of energy, striking the alien flagship at its most vulnerable points. Beams tore through the hull, shields flickering and collapsing. Explosions ripped through the enemy vessel, sending fragments drifting into space. The alien formation faltered. Confusion rippled through their ranks as smaller ships attempted to retreat, only to be intercepted by human fighters. Cho's voice trembled with relief. Flagship destabilized. Enemy fleet breaking apart. Alara allowed herself a small smile, but the weight of responsibility remained. "Do not celebrate yet. Ensure Valoria is safe. Protect every city, every life. Humanity fights for the weak." The alien forces, once confident and terrifying, now retreated in disarray. The Leviathan pursued with relentless precision, cutting off escape routes, destroying stragglers. Every action sent a clear message. Earth fights with purpose, courage, and mercy. Below, Valoria's people cheered. For the first time, they believed in survival. Humanity had shown them that hope was not lost. The blue planet they had once thought alone and quiet had become a shield, a sword, and a promise. Alara turned to her crew. "Today we have shown the galaxy the strength of humanity. But remember, this is only the beginning. Our presence has been revealed. The stars will watch us now, and they will learn that Earth never bows, never hides, and never forgets those who cry for help." The Leviathan floated amidst the wreckage of the alien fleet, a colossus in the void. Fighters regrouped, shields repaired, weapons charged. Valoria Prime below was battered but alive, a testament to human courage and resolve. Alara's eyes drifted to the stars beyond. The galaxy had underestimated them, ignored them, thought them harmless. No longer. Humanity had arrived, unyielding and unafraid. The Leviathan had unleashed its first wave of power, and the ripple would be felt across countless systems. For the first time in centuries, humans looked beyond survival. They had fought not for themselves but for life, for hope, for justice, and the galaxy, vast and ancient, would never forget the day Earth uncloaked its supercarrier. Alara whispered softly, almost to herself. We fight for those who cannot fight, and today, we have won. The Leviathan, massive and unbroken, drifted through space, a symbol of courage, strength, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. The battle had turned, Valoria was saved, and the galaxy had been warned. Earth had awakened, the alien fleet was in chaos. Their once perfect formations now drifted like broken leaves in the void. Yet Commander Alara Saeed knew better than to celebrate. The enemy was desperate, and desperation could make them even deadlier. Valoria Prime still trembled under sporadic bombardments, and every second counted. Humanity had proven its strength, but the Leviathan's mission was not complete until the planet was safe. Alara, Lieutenant Cho said, eyes wide. They're regrouping near the outer belt. Reinforcements from other systems. Faster, more numerous. They're preparing something massive. Ilara's lips pressed into a thin line. Then we finish this before they strike again. Every weapon, every fighter, every ounce of our strength. We bring it all to bear. Humanity does not stop until the threat is gone. Outside, the Leviathan surged forward like a storm unbroken. Fighters darted through space, weaving past enemy fire, striking with precision and speed that left alien vessels scattered and crippled. The supercarrier's energy cannons glowed, each pulse a warning to the galaxy that humanity would not tolerate injustice. Every strike was calculated, every maneuver deadly yet precise. Fighter squadrons Alpha and Beta, Alara commanded, flank the flagship. Draw its fire while our main cannons target its cores. Shields at maximum. We cannot fail. The alien flagship, massive and dark, moved with deadly intent. Its energy pulses lit the void like exploding stars. Yet for every strike it fired, the Leviathan countered with equal unmatched force. Smaller ships that attempted to flank the supercarrier were torn apart by coordinated human fighter strikes. The Leviathan's power was overwhelming, a force the galaxy had never imagined from a quiet planet. Alara, Cho said urgently, their superweapon is fully online. If it fires, it will obliterate the planet. We have minutes. Ilara's hands gripped the railing. Then we end it. Fighters distract. Cannons concentrate fire on the energy cores. Humanity fights not just to survive, but to protect life. And today, life will not be destroyed. The bridge hummed with tension. Every crew member knew the stakes. The alien superweapon's energy built up, a deadly storm that could erase Valoria Prime in an instant. But the Leviathan moved like a god of war, its weapons focused and synchronized. Fighters streaked past enemy lines, dodging deadly beams, engaging the flagship with unmatched courage. Missiles streaked through the void, finding precise weak points. Then came the moment of clarity. The Leviathan fired its main cannon simultaneously. A blinding pulse of white-hot energy aimed directly at the alien flagship's cores. The beam struck, ripping through shields, igniting the hull in a cascade of explosions. The enemy flagship shuddered, massive energy discharges tearing through it, forcing smaller vessels to retreat or face annihilation. Cho gasped. Flagship destabilizing. Energy cores critical. They're breaking apart. Alara felt a wave of relief mixed with unyielding resolve. Do not celebrate yet. Ensure Valoria is safe. Sweep the remaining enemy vessels. Humanity protects life above all else. Outside, fighters struck the last alien vessels. Some tried to escape, but the Leviathan's precision weapons cut off their paths. Each explosion echoed through space like thunder. Valoria Prime below trembled but remained intact. Cities had been scarred, fires burned, yet life endured. Humanity's courage had carried them through the storm. Alara allowed herself a glance at the planet. Children now dared to step outside, looking up in awe at the blue colossus in the sky. Scholars and citizens whispered in disbelief. Hope had returned. Humanity had shown them that even the darkest hour could be overcome. Cho broke the silence. "Commander!" Enemy fleet scattered. "Remaining forces are retreating. Valoria is safe." Alara's chest heaved. "We have won this battle. But remember, humanity has revealed itself to the galaxy. They will watch. They will remember. And if any threaten life, they will find Earth waiting." The Leviathan hovered among the wreckage, immense and unbroken. Fighters regrouped, shields repaired, energy reserves recharged. Valoria Prime was battered but alive. The people below looked up, hope burning bright in their eyes. Humanity had risen from hiding, shown its power, and defended the innocent. Alara turned to her crew, voice steady but filled with emotion. "Today we have shown the galaxy what Earth is capable of. Not for glory, not for conquest, but for life. Humanity fights for those who cannot fight. And today we have saved thousands. Let the stars remember this day. Earth has awakened." Outside, the Leviathan glowed like a beacon of hope. Alien ships fled in disarray, leaving the battlefield clear. Valoria Prime, scarred but alive, reflected the light of a new dawn. Humanity had made its presence known. The quiet blue planet was no longer hidden. The galaxy would tremble at its courage, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit. Alara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what had been accomplished and what lay ahead. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. "The galaxy has seen humanity's strength, and we will not falter again. Life will be protected always." The Leviathan floated silently, a colossus in the void. Valoria Prime below began to rebuild. Its people forever changed by the courage of Earth. Humanity had delivered a lesson to the stars. Underestimate us at your peril. And in the hearts of every human on the Leviathan, a simple truth burned brighter than any star. Earth would never hide, would never bow, and would always fight for life itself. The stars were quiet now, but the echoes of battle lingered. Valoria Prime lay below, scarred but alive, its cities smoking yet resilient. Humanity's supercarrier, the Titan Leviathan, floated like a sentinel in orbit, a silent guardian and a symbol of power the galaxy had never imagined. Commander Alara Saeed stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the stars, reflecting both relief and resolve. The alien fleet had been broken, their flagship obliterated, smaller vessels scattered, and reinforcements nowhere in sight. Valoria had survived. The people below were safe, and for the first time in decades, hope blossomed in their hearts. Mothers held their children, scholars stepped into the open, and the streets, once filled with fear, echoed with cautious joy. Humanity had given them a chance, not just to survive, but to believe that life could endure even the darkest hour. "Status report," Alara commanded, voice steady but carrying the weight of emotion. Cho stepped forward. "Shields at 95%. Fighters regrouping. No immediate threats detected. Valoria is secure, for now." Alara nodded, allowing herself a rare, brief smile. Humanity had proven what it could do. They had arrived not to dominate, but to defend. Not for conquest, but for life. And now the galaxy would know. Earth was awake. Across the bridge, officers and pilots exchanged quiet words, their faces showing exhaustion but also pride. They had faced a fleet far larger, far more advanced, and yet they had prevailed. Every decision, every maneuver, every ounce of courage had counted. Humanity had emerged victorious not because of raw numbers, but because of heart, strategy, and determination. Alara's gaze drifted to the planet below. Smoke rose from the cities, but life persisted. People were beginning to rebuild, to step forward, to dream again. "Valoria will recover," she whispered almost to herself. "And the galaxy will remember why Earth never hides, and why it never bows." A soft chime broke her thoughts. Holographic displays flickered with distant signals. Messages from Valoria Prime's leaders, expressions of gratitude, hope, and reverence flowed in. They called Earth their savior, their guardian. They had never imagined a distant planet could possess such power, such courage, such heart. Humanity had changed their world, and their perception of the galaxy forever. "Commander," Cho said quietly, "we are receiving transmissions from neighboring systems, alien civilizations. They're observing. They know we exist. They know what we are capable of." Alara's eyes gleamed. "Let them watch. Let them learn. Humanity does not fight for fear nor for glory. We fight for life, and those who threaten it will know the cost." Outside, the Leviathan's massive hull shimmered in the starlight. Fighters patrolled the orbit, ensuring no stray enemy vessel remained. The Supercarrier had become more than a ship. It was a symbol, a promise. The quiet blue planet of Earth had unleashed its might, and the galaxy would never see it the same way again. Alara turned to her crew, voice resonating with pride. "You have done more than defend a planet. You have shown the universe that Earth exists, that humanity rises when it must, and that life is worth protecting no matter the odds. Remember this day. Remember what we have achieved together. Humanity has awakened, and the galaxy will never forget it." The crew stood in silent acknowledgement, hearts swelling with the knowledge that their actions had changed history. They had fought not for personal glory, not for conquest, but for something greater, life itself. Far below, Valoria Prime's skies began to clear. Fires burned out. Clouds drifted across the horizon, and people stepped into the open, looking to the heavens with awe. Children waved at the massive supercarrier above, their small gestures carrying unspoken gratitude. Scholars and leaders knelt quietly, understanding that a distant world had fought for them, had risked everything, and had shown them the strength of an unexpected ally. Alara looked out the viewport, letting the enormity of the moment settle in. "The galaxy will remember today," she said softly, "as the day Earth uncloaked its supercarrier. The day the quiet blue planet spoke and the stars listened. Humanity fights for life. Humanity protects the weak. And humanity always endures." In the vast silence of space, the Leviathan drifted proudly. Alien fleets would regroup. Civilizations would watch and calculate, but one truth was undeniable. Earth had arrived. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for centuries, and that mistake would never be repeated. And on Valoria Prime, the people began to rebuild, inspired by courage and hope. They would tell stories for generations of the day the sky burned with light, of the blue planet that had risen to protect them, and of the humans who fought with heart and soul. The stars were vast and ancient, but humanity had carved its place among them. Earth had awakened. The Leviathan had proven it, and Commander Alara Saeed knew deep in her heart that this was only the beginning of a new chapter, one where the galaxy would never forget the indomitable spirit of humanity. The quiet blue planet had risen. The supercarrier had spoken, and the stars would tremble at its name.